Hi, y'all! So, Splatoon 3's trailer has been out for the past couple of weeks. And, it's been on our mind, we're getting really hyped about it, and we want to talk about it.
Yeah, me and Hans. So we're both friends. We've known each other for a long time, and we're Splatoon 2 fans. We haven't played the first Splatoon 1 game, so we're gonna need like your guys' input on that. But we've like looked up walkthroughs about it and stuff. But the point is, we're really excited for Splatoon 3, and we want to talk about it, and we want to add our like input to this. Like, there's been a lot of discussion about the game going on, and there's a lot of ideas that are getting talked about, and I love all of this. Like, I've seen people be curious if Agent 4 is the new protagonist with the little small fry in the trailer, or if that's Agent 3, or like what's the role that Mr. Grizz is going to play. I want to talk about like new gameplay additions that they could add to the game that I don't see people talking about that much. And if we're like repeating any ideas, well, I guess I'd want you to think of it as we're amplifying it.
Yeah. We may not be breaking necessarily new ground. We just want to really talk about the ideas, that we want to see, spread them around, amplify them as, what you said, Alex. And we played our fair share of games in the shooter genre. Maybe not the most, but, I think we played enough to, where we see, the features those games had, we want to see into Splatoon, and we think those features could make Splatoon a better game and have a longer lifespan.
Facts.
So, I think before we go into our discussion, I'd like to make a quick disclaimer. Some of the games, some of the examples we're going to be giving are, games that are, pretty graphic, they're pretty violent, they're rated M for mature. Maybe they're PEGI 16 to 18 in other countries. But any footage regarding those games will not have the graphic violence or any kind of graphic content in it that will be inappropriate for children.
Yeah, because Splatoon's like rated E, so we will be talking about some of these examples from these games, but we're not gonna, we're gonna like keep the boundaries. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Indeed, we will.
Okay.
So, Alex,
yes.
You're trans. You are a non-binary person.
Yeah.
What do you think about how Splatoon 3 is gonna be probably gonna be more open to more just two genders and all that?
I think that's wonderful. It's like I didn't see it coming. I did not expect it. I thought like Animal Crossing New Horizons was gonna be like the extent of what they did. I guess it makes sense that they would do it here. It's like the same developers. I guess it's a little weird because I've heard that like this is a Nintendo of America, Nintendo of Europe thing. Like they did this in localization, and I heard in Japan they just left it. I don't know. I don't know the actual lore. Do you know, Hans?
I'm not 100% sure on the lore either.
Okay. Well, I'm really happy to see this, and I'm so glad the Splatoon community, like on Twitter and stuff, that everyone's like making jokes about how Splatoon 3 destroyed gender and France. That's really good. And I hope that they embrace this more.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am also transgender. I'm a demi-man. I'll be the one that's assigned male at birth. And, well, yes, I am very happy what Splatoon 3 is doing. I think this is incredibly important. But, I do think, hopefully they can go a little bit further with it. Do something like what Shovel Knight did and, like the Pokemon fan hack, Pokemon Crystal Clear, where, they had, not just, that he, she, and they pronouns. But perhaps, if they can, maybe they even add some neo-pronouns. I mean, maybe not something you can write in, which would be nice, and that would be kind of neat, but understandably, I can see why Nintendo would be reluctant to do something like that for now, as people can write, any, inappropriate or bigoted stuff on, fillable stuff.
Yeah, so, Hans, have you ever played Shovel Knight?
Yes, I have.
Have you seen how I heard that Shovel Knight uses, like, a pronoun list as well. Have you used that?
Yeah. They do have that. You can change the bodies. Granted, it's only up to 2. To have like Shovel Knight look more like bigger, bulkier, or thinner. That more represents like a more effeminate Shovel Knight. And you can assign pronouns to them. Like you have like a more beefier Shield Knight. You can make Shovel Knight pretty much gay, straight. You can make them non-binary. You can do that with the bosses too. So yeah, they can do that. They do that Shovel Knight, and they do that for the player character in Pokemon Crystal Clear.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, so I'd really like something like that. If like all these other games have done, well, I guess that's not a lot of games, but if these games can do it, I think it wouldn't be a big deal. Well, it would be a big deal in a good way.
Yeah.
If Splatoon could do this too, giving us a list. It doesn't just have to be, well, he, she, they would be significant, but they could do more with it. I'd also think it's important for Splatoon to do this, just for representation, and for, I don't know how to say it, like for exposure, I guess, for like young people.
Yes.
We're already doing it, like back then. We could have like people in color on TV. Recently, now we're having like homosexual people on TV. And now I think it's time, for like trans people to be in media and to be like normalized. So that like just, having representation in media really helps fight against bigotry, because it lets people realize that like, these groups of people are people. They're not just like weirdos and,
Right. Exactly. You're pretty much, spreading more awareness of the issue, that and morality of like trans people. In addition, also educating, children. Splatoon is a game that's still primarily geared to, to a young audience. That that gender is a social construct, and so that in addition that so there is more than 2 genders. That's that's a big deal, and it's like. It's always important to kind of like, spread the message to the kids.
Yeah, I agree. Facts. Okay. I guess the only game, what I would want from, like, as a consequence of this is, like, how in Splatfest, if you, like, wear the same clothes, you have, like, a team name. So, like, if we all wear Anaki clothes, we get Team Anaki.
Right.
I think it's Splatfest. It also gives you a title for like your hair, your weapon, your clothing, and your gender. So I think they could keep it. They could keep the title. Like if you're all, Octo and Squid Girls, you could just keep like the Team Lady title. But I think like they could keep the title, but they should remove the like multiplier effect, and that's an effect. I'm sure a lot of you guys know. That's an effect that like it makes it more likely for you to find a multiplier battle. So if you have like team synergy, like you have the same clothes, the same weapons, it'll like make it more likely for you to find a times 10 battle or a times 100 battle. I would like them to like they can keep it. They can keep the title, if people want it. But I think that, unless this is already the case, I think that they should remove the multiplier effect. So teams that, they're all the same gender, they don't have that advantage over teams that don't want to be. So they can just, you know what I mean, right?
Right. I think it's, it's very awkward. It's just kind of like, we play with, quite a bit of like trans people in Splatoon. It's like... you just don't do that, just to tell mom, to a trans woman or a trans man, like, okay, we're gonna be this gender. It's like, no, it's 2, yeah.
Yeah. And just, for everyone's, comfort, I think, I'm glad Splatoon isn't doing it, in, like, other ways. I'm a person of color, so if Splatoon, like, gave a multiplier advantage for me turning my character to a different skin color, that would be pretty bad.
Yeah.
But I'm glad they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, amen. And so I think they could extend this to gender as well. Yeah.
And I think one more thing. It's not really too prevalent in the games. We see it's more like promotional material. But, I do like, hopefully they do get a little more comfortable and less coy with showing, representing, homosexuality in Splatoon,
Yeah, I hope they I don't want it to just be like a subtext that you can pick up in your headcanon. I mean, that's fine. And like people who have headcanons, I love them, they're valid. But it would be cool if they went all the way,
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's kind of like, yeah, man, when they, did the Valentine stuff, which, look, that's fine if you want to have, show, one of the images showing, a hetero, or a couple of the images showing, heterosexual, pairings of, H and 3 and 8, but come on! You know your audience!
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, it's fine. It just feels like they've... I don't know, it's weird. It's not a bad thing that they do it. It's fine. It's just sometimes we get Pearl and Marina telling each other that they love each other, and then, that's it.
Right. So, that's pretty much about it, and we want to talk about in regards to that. Now, this next thing we're going to talk about is something we're both pretty passionate on, and something you have quite a bit of familiarity with, Alex.
Yeah.
That is, what we want to see is a level editor.
Mm-hmm.
So,
a 3D level editor.
Yes. It'd be kind of interesting. We have a 2D level editor in Splatoon, but yeah, of course, 3D level editor. You played a lot of Halo, back in the day, and
yeah,
there's a mode called Forge Mode. Tell us about that a little bit. Tell us about the Forge Mode and your experience with it, and what is it?
So, Forge Mode is it's like a 3D level editor mode. So imagine you're going into private battle lobbies and you pick a map, so Muscle Forge Fitness, and then you go there and you start the match, and then when you're in there, so it's like a private battle, but if you press, I think it was up on the D-pad, you become a forerunner. Yeah, so you would become that, and you can fly around. You have complete control over how you fly, and they do this so it makes it easier for you to construct the level and to place 3D objects. So it would be broken, but this is a level editor mode, so it doesn't really apply to competitive. So you have infinite flight, kind of like Gary's mod, where you can just no clip when you become the editor character. You can create objects from a menu, and then you can just place them on the map. So you can create a ramp. You can go on the menu, select a ramp, and then boom, you have a ramp right in front of you, and you can move it up, down, left, right, every axis. And in later Halos, they would improve this by... So, in Halo 3, which was the first time it had a level editor, it would be the objects would be solid, so you can't clip the objects into each other. If you have a ramp below you, and then you put another ramp on top of it, the ramp will bounce off the first ramp, and then fall somewhere. On later Halos, they let you clip objects into each other. So you could create more intricate structures by having one ramp phase into the other one, and people would do crazy stuff with this. I was never good at map making. I've tried. I don't think I ever uploaded one because I realized they weren't that good. But other people have done really crazy stuff. They've made dragons out of rocks, and they would make these rock statues spit out fireballs and stuff. It would be really creative and impressive. I would want Splatoon to have something like this. I don't think it's too much to ask for, because games have already been doing this for, I don't know, since on PC, right? They've done this since the 90s?
Yeah, but the thing is, now while this is nowhere near as advanced as Halo's Forge Mode, a little plot twist for the audience. I know what Forge Mode is, but But yeah, I did try a little bit of Forge mode on the Halo Master Chief Collection, the Halo Reach version of it, and it reminds me of like a lot more sophisticated, like create Tony Hawk's like create a park mode, and that's like while it, like in like the earlier games, it's not quite super advanced. It's still very similar. It's basically is like a level editor for Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 on like the PlayStation 1.
Yeah, on the PlayStation 1. That's crazy. What the heck?
Yeah, so it's like it's been on. Yeah, and like Nintendo's not a small company. It's like it's not like I don't think it's that crazy to ask them to do anything like that.
Yeah, like you might be asking, like, well, what's the point of this? Like, I know you can make like a statue of a dragon made of rocks. It's like, yeah, but I would want a 3D level editor. For two, I'll go into the second reason after this. But the first reason is for PvP, like player versus player, like turf war or ranked battle. I think letting people, edit maps already in the game, like Muscle Forge Fitness, for example, like you add extra ramps there, or you block off certain parts, or you have like teleporters in there, or et cetera, et cetera. Or you just make a new layout entirely. I think whenever you give like the players the tools to edit the game in like a significant way, I think it just makes the replay value of the game and like the content that the game offers like infinitely larger,
Oh
like,
yeah.
Instead of just being limited to like the 50 maps that we have in Splatoon 2, which is awesome, like including all the shifty stations, the Splatfest maps. Like with a 3D level editor, we could have like a billion. That's amazing. The second reason, I guess it's not really a reason, but we could also have a level editor that could be PvE, so like player versus enemy, like the story mode or Salmon Run. Maybe Salmon Run would be too complicated, but I think we could be able to make like our own Octo expansion style levels. People already do this with mods. If you're, deep into the Splatoon community, maybe you've seen these videos before, like by CPU Bot 2016. Like hackers, like they'll mod the game and then they'll like mod the Octo expansion and they'll make like their own custom levels with like unique objectives, with new enemy placements. Like people already do this, and I think if they just gave us like the tools to do this without having to hack the game, I think like that would just be an improvement, because it's already happening.
Yeah, that's and like that's the whole thing about Splatoon is about it always has that theme of art and creativity, with the music, the passion of music, the different types of music you have to listen to, the fashion, just overall the visual style and the fact that you're like using like ink to kill each other, and like there's also like that 1-bit pixel art you can see like the hub. It just seems like a natural thing, and something that's like very much ingrained within the shooter genre, is custom content. And we've been seeing like constant content being made for shooters before I was born, because you see I'm an old man, So one year before like I was born, 1993, one of the first mods for Doom was made. And like there's mods still made to this day for like for like over 25 years we've been seeing like content just keep making for Doom. We're seeing content being made for Quake and all other games, and honestly I can't imagine like Team Fortress 2's success wouldn't really be much of a thing if it weren't for its embrace of custom content. Like fan-made maps are like beloved in the community. Cats, weapons, like so much is like like that. It's just a game that's just like that really embraces fan contribution. And there's even like Valve has a whole game they produced called Gary's Mod, as Alex mentioned earlier, where it's all about like that's just the whole thing is like custom content. And the one thing you'll notice in like games like Doom and Team Fortress 2, there's Nintendo content in those games. And you'll see, and we mentioned Pokemon Crystal Clear, That's a fan mod. Nintendo fans are passionate. They are creative. And if you even like when they're given a lot of the limitations, they use their creativity, and ingenuity to really make some truly memorable and even like emotional stuff. Like in Super Mario Maker 2, there was a really there was one level that kind of made us sad. So it's like if you could do that, like just imagine.
What was that level like?
It was like the Goomba. I think it was like Goomba you team up with and then dies at the end.
Oh no!
Yes. So very sad level. If they could do that on Super Mario Maker 2, just imagine what they could do in Splatoon with a level editor. Even if it's not the most detailed like you see in like PC level editors for other games. As long as you got like the rudimentary stuff out of the way, maybe something like Force, maybe a little more, maybe a smidgen less, you're gonna get, a game's gonna last a long time, just like how Doom lasts a long time. Since 1993, there's still mods made for that game to this very day.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just a shooter thing. Like frickin' Ocarina of Time still gets modded, but I think Hans brings up shooters because Splatoon is a team shooter, and I think one of the things that we really wanted to see in Splatoon 2 was it to have more content that other shooters have been doing for a while. I'm not saying like, oh, Splatoon should be more like a generic Call of Duty clone. I'm saying Splatoon should, yeah. Splatoon should be itself, and it should be its own thing, and it should keep trying new things, of course. But it doesn't have like right now. It doesn't have like features that like that like every other online shooter has, and I think that a lot of people will agree with that. Like, I see it like all over on Twitter or Discord or forums. Like people just we want more from this game.
There's nothing wrong with asking a little more, it's like there's always room for improvement with this type of stuff.
Yeah. I guess maybe one counterpoint that you could have, like as the audience, is you might say like, well, a 3D level editor would be too complicated and I wouldn't use it, or like I wouldn't know what to do. But so my counterpoint would be, I think that other games have proved that despite that, like I understand this would be more complicated to design a good than in like Mario Maker, because Mario Maker is 2D, that's a lot more simple. But people have done really cool and creative things in 3D level editors. People have done that in Halo since the days of the Xbox 360. People have do that with mods, like Doom. Also, like I said earlier, I probably wouldn't make a level in Splatoon because I don't think I have the ingenuity to do it or like the talent to do it. But
I got near to those.
I could, but I could play levels that other people have made, and that's what I'm saying. Like, even if this is like a mode that you're not particularly interested in, I think you would be interested, or you could be rather, in maps that other people make. Like, you don't have to make stuff. You can just keep playing, and that's already what we do. I just don't think it could detract from the experience, like in any way.
Yeah, in spite of my lack of skill and ingenuity, I would still like to make a level, at least try. And, and I think, you're spot on, if you don't like the mode, you may even like playing the creations from that mode, or just don't bother with it. Let other people enjoy the mode, then.
Yeah, I just, I guess maybe someone could say, like, content could be inappropriate, like in Smash Ultimate, but just report it. Nintendo can afford, like, a mod team or, like, a staff that's always there. It's Smash Ultimate's doing it, and I love the fact that Smash Ultimate does it. That's one of the best, like, features that they added to the game, and it's, like, amazing. Like, people have done creative stuff, like, with levels, and I don't think that would be a problem. Like, it would be, but it's very easily solvable.
Yeah, I do think, that can always happen, for sure. And I do think that's, you can report inappropriate content right now. You can report like inappropriate artwork in Splatoon. So I think for state maps that could also be, why not? Just do that for maps as well.
Yeah, of course. Have a report button and make it easy to access and stuff like that.
Right. But speaking of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, there is something else we want to talk about. And what we think Super Smash Bros. Ultimate does pretty well on, and that is custom games.
Yeah.
So in Splatoon, we like Turf War, we like Splat Zones, we like, Tower Control, some may like Rainmaker, and few like Clam Blitz, but that's besides the point.
What the heck?
But the point being is, sometimes we don't play any of those modes. No. Sometimes we like to play hide and seek and, play a very interesting version of Jailbreak.
Yeah. I'm sure y'all have watched like Splatoon YouTubers, play hide and seek or jailbreak or, some other like mode in a private battle lobby. And I think that would be an example of what quote unquote custom games are. This is also a thing that other video games have done, not just shooters, but shooters have done it, like Halo. I think the difference here is that in Splatoon right now, we can do it, but you need to like explain the rules of what you're going to do to everyone involved beforehand. Right. So if I wanted to play hide and seek with like a bunch of people, I would need to make sure that everyone's on board with the rules and that, they know what's happening. And then, if like, and then I have to tell them like, oh, you're not allowed to use this sub or you're not allowed to use that special. And it gets kind of complicated. I think a way to simplify it is to just let us be able to make game types or modes in private battle where we could make the rules there, or we could change the game's values there. So I think Splatoon already does this to a very small extent. If you go to a private battle lobby, like if you make one and you look at like above where it says the mode, so it's like mode Turf War, it'll say like more settings, and then it'll show the X button. So if you press the X button, it'll show you like no secondary abilities, and you can turn it on or off. I think this is an example of like letting us change a game attribute. Was that how you say it?
Yeah, you can change the game. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, game attribute is a good way to explain it.
Okay, so they already let us do this. That's the only thing that they let us change. So it's not great, but I think it's nice to see that like the option is there. And I don't want them to like remove the secondary abilities thing in Splatoon 3 or anything. But what I'm saying is they should let us change more. So like, for example, in Halo, you can change how much HP players have. You can change how much damage they do. You can change how fast or how slow they go. You can change how high or how low they can jump. You can change what weapons they use, or you can change like the team color that they have, and you can change this for different players. So I think there can be up to 8 teams. So if you wanted to make it so like one team is like very slow and then the other team is very fast, then you could just edit the like attributes of the individual teams. And I think that would be really cool. Like, for example, in hide and seek, how that would be applicable in Splatoon is if you could make like 2 teams in Splatoon, and then one team would be the hider, so like you don't let them use weapons or you don't let them use subs. The seekers, like they can't use certain, seeking subs like the auto bomb or the tentamissiles, or the seekers are a little bit slower or something like that. It would be like a quality of life change to what we already have, but also it would introduce like new like ways to play that we just couldn't before. There's modes in other games like in TF2. I guess this isn't really as equivalent because those are mods, but like a mode like Saxon Hail is like a boss battle mode. I think you could recreate that in something that doesn't have mods, like in Halo. Like you make one player very slow and have a lot of HP and do a lot of damage, or like an infection game type where some players are zombies and the other players are the survivors, and then if a zombie like splats a survivor, then the survivor joins the zombie team, and then it makes it harder. But like, it's just all these like it kind of goes like hand in hand with like the level editor idea, or it would just like I think it would expand the replay value infinitely.
Yeah. And one interesting, some games do, not all, but some games do this. One notable example that comes to mind to me personally is Unreal Tournament 2004. They have a thing called mutators. It's a very similar thing Alex has brought up, such as you can have an infection mode. If you want to put that into like your deathmatch or your capture the flag mode. Or you can have like big head mode. You gotta have a big head mode.
You gotta. True.
And there's other stuff like you can replace one type of weapon, like I think the railgun, with a realistic sniper rifle, or you can have like one-hit KOs. So pretty much that is it's like pretty much but that's one way they could do it, and it's very similar to what we've been talking about. And even if stuff like Texas out as a mod, it could still be kind of nice. It would be definitely a nice feature to add extra expanse to Splatoon's level editor. To have something like the Forge, mode sort of like qualities, like having one player have a certain like statistic, have like also maybe have more teams, which it'll be imbalanced, but that's not what it won't be kind of like a main mode. I think like Team Fortress 2 does a pretty good job separating the more fan-made stuff with the more maps you're supposed to take more seriously. That's a bit more balanced. You don't have to like bump into like those like. So if you want to play like regular TF2, you can. You want to play like the crazy mods, you can go do that. If you want to do that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I like having like multiple teams. Like I guess that would be a really interesting thing if they added that to Splatoon 3's like meta, like actual ranked modes. Like if we could have like 4 teams or something, that would be crazy. But I don't think they would do that. But yeah, like at the very least, I think they could just add it to private battles and make it like an optional setting. So if you want to do that, like just to goof off, you could. Yeah, like Han said, it doesn't have to be like balanced. It's just like that's the point of these like private battle modes for me. It's just to have fun. It's not really to like to have a serious way to play like the legal tournament way.
Though a hide and seek tournament does sound tempting.
Yeah, that'd be sick. Prize money.
So, is there anything else you want to talk about regarding custom games?
I would like them to let us optionally play with robots.
That's where we're about to get to next, actually!
Yeah.
We have a list on stuff we want to talk about.
Yeah, we wanted it to be a little bit scripted.
Yeah, a little bit scripted. Keep focus. But cash. So yeah, pretty much. We want to see pretty much local multiplayer, which apparently I'm still out of time. Out of the times. Like apparently there isn't much local multiplayer in a lot of games these days. But we also think we'd like to see bots. Because. Nintendo want that money! So, bleh.
They want to sell more Switch consoles.
Yep, and more copies.
True.
So, I think Smash Ultimate does a lot of what we... does actually a lot what we want in Splatoon 3, the more we think about it.
That's true. I guess someone could chalk that up to, like, the nature of the game. Like, Smash Ultimate is a fighting game. Fighting games always have bots. And shooters, I mean, Halo doesn't have bots, but like, shooters can have bots, like Team Fortress 2 has bots.
And like, hey, here's a game that's not a shooter, Rocket League!
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, I think having bots, having like ways to play the game in single player, I think is, useful, and I think it's gonna because, not everyone has, a top, has the best internet, or they may be facing with power, outages once in a while, or their internet outage once in a while, and it'd be nice, hey, you wanna go practice, or you're bored, I think that'd be a nice way, having bots would be a very nice way to kind of still play Splatoon in some form or faction.
I understand that, bots are not... They don't have to worry about as much in Rocket League or Smash, because those games are, I guess, arguably simpler. But, I think Nintendo has like the best programmers in the world, or some of the best. With like very decorated resumes and decades of experience. So, I mean, I'm sure they could do something. We're not asking, oh, like, the bot should play as, like, perfect, like, X rankers. Just, like, something good enough. Like, for example, like in Mario Kart 8, you can play with bots, and you can play with friends and bots at the same time. So if you don't have enough friends to fill your room, you can just put bots in there. And, like, the bots don't have to be amazing, but, like, it would be better. It's better having them there than like to not have them there if you don't have a choice.
Right.
Like if you don't have like real humans you have access to. That's a weird thing to say, but I'm sure you guys know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I think Splatoon could, do the same thing. Yeah.
They already have bots, don't they? In a way. Like they have like those like Octoling AIs you face against in like, Octo Indian and like Octo expansion.
Yeah, they do. I guess they're like they run around in circles and stuff. They're not like super good or like super smart. I don't think they could play like modes.
Right.
Or even play Turf War as the way they are. But I do think they could, upgrade their AI to do those things to an extent. Mm-hmm.
So, and I think also local if no bots, if anything else, it'd be kind of nice to have, local multiplayer. We know why it's not there, alright? And it's like, that's not something we just excuse Nintendo for, Like, it's nice to have, hey, let's go play with friends, family, have them give, Splatoon a try, see if they like it, and I think that would just be, one good way to kind of, I think it's just a mode I think just be nice to have, not just to have like 8 copies of a game, just to play local multiplayer,
You mean like split screen on the same TV?
Yeah, I guess, that could be one way to do it. I mean, I guess that 8-player split screen would be a bit much. I think split screen would be a lot, but I guess I guess that'd be the difficulty because Splatoon is made more for 8 players in mind. Maybe not, that would be, I think that might be a good reason why they don't have it, but, I guess they could maybe make some smaller maps, perhaps for, include like a, 4-player split screen, multiplayer.
Yeah, that's what, I think that's what, Mario Kart on the GameCube would do this, Double Dash. That would have 4-player split screen. I'm pretty sure every Halo game has 4-player split screen. Maybe the new ones don't, but like Halo 3, Halo Reach, they had 4-player split screen. Yeah, like 1 to 4 players. So you could have 2 players, you could have 3 players. Yeah, I think that would be a good idea, or at least, no, yeah. I think it's doable. I mean, just the option being there is better than not having an option.
Yeah, I think that's about the gist of what we want to talk about regarding that. But speaking of Rocket League, the menus for multiplayer, to connect into multiplayer is atrocious in Splatoon 2.
Yeah. I, when Rocket League was, announced on the Switch, and it's, free, and when I got it, it was, so crazy, because it's, the way that you can just join your friends and play with them is so, convenient and simple, and, finding a match is, fast and good. It's wow. Why isn't Splatoon like this?
Oh, yeah. And they already got it partially solved, too. When you play League, you have a pretty easy way to, have those connect with each other, and as well as Salmon Run, so, I guess they couldn't just, figure that out when, how we get them, not be in the same team, I guess, but, I don't know, they couldn't figure that out, I don't know.
Oh, I see what you mean. In Salmon Run, you can, host a friend lobby, and then you can wait for, 1 to 4 players to join. And then you can look for randoms.
Right, yes. Yeah, they can solve it, they could, they pretty much, you can, just imagine you can, join, the main menu itself before you can, play a game.
Yeah, so, in Rocket League and in Halo, you can join your friends like on the main menu, and like you could all like enter a mode at the same time. So instead of like you hosting a private battle and then waiting for everyone to join, people could just join you at any time, and then the party leader or like the host could just click on private battle, and then everyone would be in private battle. Or we could do that, for turf war or like regular battle. We could do that for, League 2 and Salmon Run. You can also like send invites to people. Right now you can, but you have to do it on the phone and it's like kind of awkward. So, because it's like a phone feature, I don't think they're gonna make that more convenient because they probably want us to keep using our phone to
Right.
do that.
You have a phone, don't
Which,
you?
yeah. So, whatever. But in Rocket League, you can like send invites to people, so they'll be like, "Oh, I've been invited," and like you don't even have to like voice chat or like message them on a external thing. You could just send them an invite in game, and then they could join, and that's like it's just a way faster and way more convenient of playing like private battles with friends.
Don't got much to say to that. Pretty much that's the other than like, you know, one other thing really Splatoon really needs is Squid Jump 2.
Facts. Yeah, that reminds me that it could also improve. Like in Splatoon 1, I heard they figured out like loading for matches by letting you play like Squid Jump on the Wii U gamepad and stuff, right?
Right.
They could also do it so they should bring that back. I agree. We should have Squid Jump too. But they should also do it so like in Team Fortress 2, when you connect to a map or a server, you can play in the spawning area before the match starts while people are joining. If there's like 3 people on the map so far, the game's not going to start until you have like 16 people or something. You can move your character around in the spawning area. You can talk to people, you can do taunts, you can do emotes, you can spam voice clips, you can like crouch. Like you can basically squid party with people before the
Yeah.
match starts. And I think yeah. And I think that would be a good way of like helping deal with the horrible loading times that Splatoon has, probably because of Nintendo's online infrastructure. I heard it's like really bad or something, and it seems that way. I don't know if this maybe that's like more of a PC thing or like a dedicated server thing, so maybe they can't exactly recreate it. If they could, I think that would be a wonderful addition. It doesn't have to be exactly like Team Fortress 2. Like, none of these things have to be exactly like the other games that we've mentioned. Obviously, I want them to have their own Splatoon spin on it, so do like amiibo dances or something. But yeah.
Yes. I mean, if anything else, let us like change our gear and weapons while we're waiting. Be kind of nice.
Yeah, they already kind of let us do that with when you can change weapons before you like ready up in turf and ranked, but I think giving us more time to do that instead of just 15 seconds would also be nice.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Hmm.
yeah, that's pretty much, I think, be nice. So I don't think there's much else to really, talk about regarding this. I think we pretty much got, stay what we want regarding how we can like, do, waiting for, our match or just like joining up in our matches. But I think there's one thing that I want to see gone in Splatoon 3. It's just no more floating level design like from Octo Canyon.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand, the story mode's there to be a tutorial. It's there to teach you how to play. It's there to teach you mechanics like how to, squid jump and like long jump and squid form and like momentum
Yeah,
and
well, math
your
blasters.
weapons.
Math blasters could have just been, a math quiz, but they could have been that. But
True.
but they did more than that.
Yeah. Yeah, I really hope, a lot of people have been talking about this. I really hope Splatoon 3 has an open world. Like we could explore the desert wasteland like it's Breath of the Wild or like Mario Odyssey or something. Where I just want big open areas that are actually like modeled environments.
Yeah.
Uh, I guess the best example that I can think of from Splatoon 2 is the Labyrinth Station from the Octo expansion. I think that one's like you do the Splatoon 2 tutorial area, but like in reverse, because the Octo expansion is funny like that, I guess. And but like in that level, it's like fully modeled. Like you're in the city, you're in like sanitized Inkopolis, but it's still just like it's really cool. It's so like atmospheric. It's not just like, oh, you're on floating platforms and there's floating walls and you're doing platforming and it's very linear. Like I just that stuff like it's cool. I mean, I still like it to an extent, but I think they really should just like evolve and just go bigger, go big and like give us like real areas and like more open level design and stuff.
Yeah, more immersive, levels for sure. Like I think Doom is like more immersive. It's an immersive game. But like, we've been perfecting this since 1993.
Yeah, no kidding.
So, Alex, one thing I know you really want is like an optional co-op story mode.
Yes. Exactly like in Halo. Running theme here. But in Halo, it has a story mode. You can play it by yourself, so it can be single player. You don't need friends or anything. But if you want to play it with friends online or offline, like on the same TV, or you want to play with online friends, you can do that. So you could play it with 2 people, 3 people, 4 people. I think the new Mario port, Mario 3D World Bowser's Fury, I think that's how they do that.
But
maybe.
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest. But what I do know, that does an optional like story mode, is Half-Life 1 through a mod known as the Sven co-op mod. So you can play Half-Life 1's story mode with a friend.
That's so sweet.
So it'd be something that's nice to see, and especially if like the theories are true that the new playable characters are Agent 4 and Agent 8. I think that'd be kind of like, I think that'd be kind of interesting that they're teaming up in whatever crazy adventure our cephalopods got into this time.
Yes. Yeah. Like, it would be a cool way to bring back all the old agents. So if it was like 4-player co-op, I would want it to be optional because I don't like forcing people to play a certain way.
Right.
So I think if people just want to do single player, that's fine. But if they want to do 4 players, one person could be Agent 3, one person could be Agent 4, the other person could be Agent 8, and the last person could be the new agent. They could do creative stuff.
I think that's about it. There's just 2 small little things we want to talk about. And it's very brief. I just would say, just kill MPU.
Kill it.
And, kill console exclusivity. Even though that'll never happen.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah,
but yeah, it would be cool if Splatoon was on PC or something.
Yeah. So, I think that's about all I really want to talk about. Anything else you'd like to add?
I guess that's pretty much it. I would like to thank you all for watching. I totally understand if you disagree, and you can say why. That's valid. You want to give your own ideas, you could.
Yeah, look, if you want to disagree, give your own ideas. Go break that down in the comments section. I mean, we'd like to hear what you guys say. Well, we're a community. Let's talk. Let's spread the ideas.
Yep, facts. There's a lot. We barely reference like any discussion of Splatoon 3 that's already happening, but like that doesn't mean like we don't agree. Like,
right.
I do like a lot of you guys' ideas that I've seen.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's about story mode, or how to bring back the old agents, or everyone's talking about an open world. Or one of my favorite things that people are talking about is apartments. Like, people want custom apartments, right?
Yeah, that's also my favorite one people are talking about.
Yeah. I guess, like, the purpose of this video was, like, if we, if you guys, like, don't play other shooters, or you could never envision like Splatoon having like a level editor or like something like that. I guess like that was the purpose of the video, to like, maybe you would like it. Maybe it's something that you could look forward to, and we could like ask the developers or something.
Yeah. So hopefully, if you're old enough to play these games, you give them a try. If not, hopefully these ideas sound pretty cool, Yeah, so I also thank you guys for watching the video.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye!